came across a speech that was delivered by Eric Kimani, the former CEO of Samia Group. And in this speech, he was talking about personal branding. One of the elements that he emphasized on that speech was time, and how time is the currency of our generation, which was very interesting for me, because then I really began to reflect and think about how do I use my time. Then a few years later, I came across the time circle, the concept of the time circle. And what I'd like you to do right now, just a quick exercise to understand the time circle, is take a pen and a piece of paper and draw a circle. And then from the center of that circle, draw 3 lines to divide your circle into 3 equal pies. And on each of those pies, write 8, 8, and 8. On the first 8, write sleep. And on the second 8, write work. And then on the third 8, write a question mark. And the essence of this time circle is to ask yourself, if you sleep for 8 hours, assuming that you actually sleep at the hours that you generally should, between 6 to 8 hours, and if you work for 8 hours, or at least apply your mind to meaningful income generating activities for 8 hours, can you account for the remaining 8 hours of your day? Because in a 24-hour day, can you really account for the remaining 8? This is a pertinent question, because you might say, yes, I spend a lot of time in traffic, I spent a lot of time moving, etc. But the question is, in that 8 hours, how much time do you spend on TV? How much time do you spend on your phone? How much time do you spend on basically mindless activity? The first time I came across this concept, I used to tell myself I don't have time. And I think at that point, even my mom was trying to push me to start my MBA. And the day I came across this concept, I went to the university and registered for my MBA. And within a year, I had completed my coursework and I was on to doing my project. I basically completed my MBA in record time after understanding this simple concept. Because I realized that I used to spend too much time on TV. I used to spend too much time with friends, and I used to spend too much time doing things that generally do not add a lot of value to my life. And so I began to plan that 8 hours that remained in my day. And it's critical, because in this generation today, all over the currency that we are serving, because at any one time, any minute lost is money lost. And that is why I believe Eric referred to it as the currency of our generation. So take a moment and account for that 8 hours and ask yourself, can you allocate some of that time to read? Can you allocate some of that time to another hustle that you have been saying you don't have time for? Because if you already spend 8 hours in the trade, or if you're in employment or in a trade that you already have, that means there's another 8 hours that really could be applied into something meaningful. The same time after discovering these concepts is when I also began to do other things with my time and space, and begin to generate income from other activities away from what my work is. So this is a concept that you need to think about critically and ask yourself that pertinent question. You've got 8 hours of work in a day. You've got 8 hours of sleep, typically. For most of us, I personally sleep for 6 to 7 hours. So there's an extra hour that I need to think about what to do with it. But if you cannot account for the remaining hours of your day after you sleep and after you work, then you're not setting yourself up for what would be your success. So begin by accounting for that time, and you'll be setting yourself up for success.